Hello and welcome to Five at the Back with your host Matthew Thowney. This is episode 5 and joining us will be Rob.
Hello.
Jason.
Right.
Lee.
Hello there.
And after a long absence through transfer negotiations and everything like that, he didn't end up going to Crystal Palace in the end. Ended up going to Scunthorpe.
Right.
We have Kieran back on the show.
I am back.
Yes. And it's been a very interesting weekend and a big week in the world of football, especially with the transfer window shutting and all the business out of the way, now in the business end of the season. But we're into a big debate now because you sit there and you think, what is wrong with Chelsea? As a Chelsea fan, I don't really want to watch them anymore because it's actually disgusting watching it. But is it as Antonio Conte had his final game in charge at Chelsea after a 4-1 defeat at Watford?
We saw it last season with... Was it last season? A couple of seasons ago, sorry, with Mourinho. Once you lose the dressing room, that's it. And it seems like 2 back-to-back games where you lose by more than 3 goals. I think I read a stat somewhere it's the first time it's happened in over 25 years that Chelsea have lost 2 games in a row by more than 3 goals. So how long is it before he loses the dressing room?
I disagree with you. I think he's already lost the dressing room. That game against Watford, not one player on that pitch looked like he wanted to play.
Not even Kante, who's been by far Chelsea's best player since Antonio Conte took over. You would say without no shadow of a doubt. But there's one player that I think we all want to highlight who was awful in that game, and there's actually petitions for his ban to be even extended to 6 games.
Only that.
Bakayoko. He made 7 mistakes in that game, passing the ball, and was sent off within 30 minutes of kickoff. Is he the biggest flop of the 2017-18 Premier League season?
I can't think of anyone else. I think he has to be. He's just not performed. Well, he's signed for like 40 million, and for a 40 million player, you expect so much better than what he's doing this season.
I mean,
he came in to replace Matic at the end of the day. Whatever way you look at it, he came in to replace Matic. And the Watford game's not the first one where he's been highlighted as the weak link.
Yeah. But for me, I think that Bakayoko, like I was saying to you earlier, Jason, I look at Bakayoko and the first thing I think is, this is a player who is coming from Monaco, a team that done very well last season, so he should be a decent player. But I think the mistake Chelsea have made is they've looked at Monaco's success and believed that any player that comes from that team is going to do well for you. When not every player does well for you when you win anything. It's like, for example, when Chelsea won the title last season, there's probably 1 or 2 players you look at in that squad and go, like Begovic. You don't go, he was pivotal in that season, yeah, we'll buy him, because he was on the bench most of the time. Bakayoko, he did play a pivotal role because he played a lot of games, but are we sitting here looking at a player who is massively overrated?
I don't even think overrated is the right word. I think if you were to ask 9 out of 10 Chelsea fans, beginning of the season, who's Bakayoko? Other than the ones that have done the Monaco career mode on FIFA, I think you'd struggle to find someone who'd be able to tell you anything about it.
It's true.
I was reading something earlier about Leonardo Jardim, the Monaco manager, apparently dropped him a good few times in their title-winning season because his form massively dropped. So
he's the player.
He weren't all that great at Monaco.
Exactly.
40 million's a bit of a large sum for someone like that.
Just go back to your point about the it was a part of a good Monaco team, but it doesn't mean he was necessarily the biggest part of that Monaco team. Reminds me a lot of when Chelsea signed Felipe Luis off of Atletico. He lasted a season.
Yeah.
He lasted a season where everyone thought, he came from that great Atletico team. He must be.
And we won the title when he was there, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And lasted a season.
exactly. But is 40 million like cheap enough that he's that much of a flop that you look at him and go, do you know what, Antonio Conte, don't worry about it, it's 40 million, or is 40 million too much and he's like, right, Abramovich is thinking, get him out because he spent 40 million of my money on a player who has not replaced one of our best players.
If you listen to Conte at the moment, he seems to think that he don't really get much of a say in the transfer dealings.
But then this is, as I know it's 7 years ago now since we signed him, but Fernando Torres, we signed him for only 10 million more from Liverpool. A record sign at the time, of course. I know times have changed a lot since then, but that's a lot of money for a player still. We spent that money, and let's be honest, I think if he didn't spend that money, Carlo Ancelotti would never have lost his job at Stamford Bridge, because I think it did have a big say because he's broke the transfer record and we didn't win anything with him. And do we think this is the same thing if we spend all this money, especially Morata as well? We spend all this money, but we're not getting anywhere anytime soon.
Again, like going back to what Lee said, how much of this can be Conte's fault? Like Conte is continuously saying, "I don't have the like say in the transfer market." How many of these players are the ball going? Bakayoko, he looks alright. Morata, yeah, he's alright.
Like sometimes it's hard when you haven't brought your players in, try and fit them into your system that you want to play. They don't fit in, then you're going to struggle with them.
It's true, yeah.
And I think that's what might be happening now.
But so are we all here officially saying that the worst player this season in terms of signings is Bakayoko? Because for me and Jace, I'm saying that, and
I am, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Robbie as well. Yeah,
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Kieran is as well. Go on then, Lee. Who's yours?
No, it is Bakayoko, I think, but you have to give sort of honourable mentions to a couple of others when you look at, say, Hernandez at West Ham, what signed for 18 million, I think it was in
16 million.
16 million. And
Yeah, Paul, get it right.
But in a way, I think you could say about Lacazette.
yeah, Lacazette at Arsenal.
Didn't he break their transfer record at the time?
Lacazette did, yeah. Lacazette was our record.
See, that's what makes that a bit more of a flop in a way, but at the same time,
They're now falsely the wrong word. But they've just broke their record to sign 52 million Lacazette. 6 months down the line, broke the record again. Sign Aubameyang.
but do we think, because then going comfortably into the next topic, that deal that literally smothered that deadline day, Aubameyang went to Arsenal from Dortmund, which then triggered Batshuayi going to Dortmund on loan from Chelsea, which then allowed Olivier Giroud to go to Chelsea from Arsenal. Big question here: who got the best deal out of all those three clubs? And for me, I'll start off. I personally think Batshuayi was the best one out of the lot. I do.
Scored 2 on his debut for Dortmund.
Scored 2 on his debut. Had a better record than Giroud in the Premier League this season. He's younger, and he's a proven goal scorer in the Premier League, unlike Aubameyang, who is a good player but not yet proven. Are you, Kieran?
Yeah, I totally agree. Didn't Batshuayi outscore Lacazette as well this season?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I think
in less games as well.
Yeah. But Dortmund have got the better deal.
Less minutes. A lot less minutes. Lee?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, people saying that Lacazette is taking. Point with Lacazette, he looks like one of these players that's going to take him a season to adjust to the Premier League. But in this day and age, you can't have a season to adjust to the Premier League.
Yeah, with the amount of money spent, do you think that's a factor? Like the amount of money spent means you've got to be an instant impact now. You can't be. You can't have. Do you know what? You scored 2 this season. Fine, next season you'll do it. No, this season now you've got to do it.
Now
with benched.
The money now demands results.
Yeah. What about you, Jason?
I think Chelsea, personally.
What, Giroud?
Yeah.
Go on in.
Sheer fact, Batshuayi weren't going to get the time under Conte. He doesn't like him, whatever reasons, blah, blah, blah. Gone over it enough times. However, Giroud is a player that Conte actually, for once, come out and admitted he likes. Makes you wonder if this no striker, false nine in Hazard, rubbish, is going to be stopped now. And
We've had him 2 games and he's not he's not started him.
He's just coming back from an injury.
But still, in my opinion, even so, if you're that desperate for gold, that desperate to stay in your job, you throw him on. You risk it.
I agree with you at the same time. And if he starts Giroud against Watford last night, and then Giroud got injured after 5 minutes, recurrence of that injury, that's another 20 million Chelsea have now spent. And if what you were saying earlier on about the 40 million on Bakayoko, the money on Morata, all of that risking his job. If that is the case, that's another 18 million.
It's true. Where are you, Rob?
I think Dortmund's got the best because
4 out of 5 have gone for Batshuayi. Why is that?
because the way I think he's going to score Dortmund a lot of goals. He's always scored 2 on his debut, and at Chelsea, I thought he was a good player, but he just wasn't going to fit in that team. Conte didn't really like him, but if he's under a manager that wants to play him, and that will give him game time, I think he'll score loads of goals.
I think as well, Dortmund. I think Aubameyang did not want to play for Dortmund. He hasn't wanted to play for Dortmund since the summer. So it's only improved. So they've got rid of a player who didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
To Arsenal, because I welcome him with open arms. He's got his debut, but now Dortmund have replaced a player that doesn't want to be there with a player like we all said, that given the chance will score goals.
Well,
and will perform.
That is true. Like, I mean, I think I've seen it with every single player now. Aubameyang said he wanted to go Arsenal. Batshuayi says he wanted to go Dortmund on loan out of all clubs, and Giroud's even come out and said he loves the chance to join the Blues. So everyone seems to be happy where they've gone. But don't get me wrong, I do think Aubameyang is going to absolutely rip it apart in North London. I do.
So,
but at the end of the day, I've got no paper in front of me that tells me, or no crystal ball in front of me that tells me he's going to score you 10 goals.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, 10 goals by the end of the season is going to be a good record for him.
Yeah, I have to disagree with you. Like, I genuinely don't think Aubameyang's going to succeed.
Why is that?
I think it's a case of if Aubameyang succeeds, Lacazette fails, and vice versa.
Well, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are expecting Lacazette and Aubameyang to play together.
Yeah, but they can't, can they? Because they're both.
Yeah.
If you look at, they're both look at their careers before they even joined Arsenal. Aubameyang, he never played with a partnership striker, and so did Lacazette at Lyon. He never played with a partnership striker.
we don't play unless we go to a 4-4-2, which I highly doubt. We haven't played 4-4-2 in years.
Neither striker's tall enough to. If they had Giroud and Aubameyang, or Giroud and Lacazette playing together, I could see it because then Giroud could knock it down. But you can't see Lacazette or Aubameyang knocking it down because they've not got the height.
And this is the thing that I'm going with. Like, with Arsenal fans at the minute, one bad result, Wenger out, Wenger needs to change. Problem being, the instant change the fans are now going to think is put Lacazette on, chuck Aubameyang out to the right or left or whatever, and drop Iwobi. Which is a brilliant idea.
Iwobi's dropped for a while, but
don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant idea. Iwobi is pretty naff. But at the same time, like, if you're putting Aubameyang on the wing, is he still going to be then classed as a success if he's not scoring the goals which he's been brought in to score?
True, but I do have to say, I think the signing of the transfer window didn't actually move clubs. And that's weird to say. It's got to be Ozil going to staying at Arsenal. Best player, assist king in recent years, and I don't think there's many players better than him in the Premier League in that position, apart from maybe Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So you sit there and you think to yourself, that's the best signing out of the lot.
To me, Mesut Ozil signing a new contract is our best signing since signing Mesut Ozil.
Don't get too excited over there.
For everyone that obviously can't see us, Lee has just crossed his legs.
You did actually cross your legs as well. Yeah, but end of the day, I personally think that from that lot, that's why, I'll be honest, I am sitting here hoping that he does come back to Chelsea and that maybe that we give him a chance because I don't want to lose him, personally.
I think that rests on Conte's future.
I think it also rests on how well he does at Dortmund.
Yeah.
Scores 19 goals. But yeah, no, what is it? Just like there was another debate that it came up over the weekend. Like they were talking about how close the bottom half of the table is, like the likes of Crystal Palace, West Ham, Arsenal when they eventually become part of the bottom half. What?
To be fair, mate, you can't really tell.
No?
You're a Chelsea fan.
We're fourth. We're sitting fourth. You're Spurs. You're sitting fifth. But what is it? From 9th in the Premier League to 19th, there is how many points separating?
7 points.
7 points separating 19th from 9th place in the Premier League. And I've got to ask, is these lot of Premier League teams, these 10 Premier League teams, including the one right at the bottom as well, are they better or worse than the teams from 10 years ago in the Premier League?
I think they're better.
Yeah.
They're a lot more solid at the back. Like teams aren't letting in. It's not like you don't get to see like really like 4-1s all the time or 5-2s, and you rarely see these teams at the bottom. They're not losing by much. They're losing 1-0s or 2-1s. They're not getting thrashed.
You got to look at the fact that 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, you had Derby in the Premier League who managed one Premier League win all season. So
There's my argument done. No.
Yeah.
But what the main thing I wanted to get at is this. When Chelsea lost last night, they lost 4-1 to a team, let's be honest, that is going through a time of turbulence, isn't playing particularly well, has just got a new manager, yes, so you start playing well when you get a new manager in. But was it much of a shock to the system when Chelsea lost 4-1? Was it? That's the simple.
Would have been more of a shock if they hadn't lost to Bournemouth the week before.
But was that a shock?
It is now the thing in the Premier League nowadays that anyone can beat anyone.
Like, I think if we went back 10 years ago, and I don't know, West Ham or Bolton or Blackburn beat Manchester United. I remember when Blackburn beat Man United on Boxing Day 3-2, and everyone was like, "How did that happen? How did that happen?" Whereas now Chelsea lose 3-0. It's in the papers. It was smothered all over the papers, but that's the last we've heard about it. That was it. It's like, okay, move on now. Is that just the way the world is now, or are shocks just like because the calibre of team has risen, that shocks just happen every week and it's not anything really to talk about as much anymore?
Yeah, but you look at the weekend, Burnley held Man City to a draw, a 1-1 draw. Like Man City would beating everyone, and now so a team like Burnley holds them to a draw. Not like the Chelseas or the Arsenals or Liverpool. Oh no, Liverpool beat them, but they're the top of teams. But like Burnley kept them to a draw at home, like at their grounds, like Burnley. So I think it is one of them leagues at the moment where literally any team can go to any team and beat them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's you definitely can think that's definitely going to be a win.
Like, and do you think that's the reason why the Premier League is a lot better than any other league when it comes to it? Because you go to like La Liga, and Barcelona, they're running away with it. They've now beat the record for the most like games undefeated since the start of the season, 22, which is a brilliant record, fantastic, and they are a good team. Like no one can doubt that at all. But do you think that if they were in the Premier League, they would do the exact same thing?
Yeah, Premier League is a lot more competitive than La Liga.
Right.
Barcelona. Look at maybe not Real Madrid so much this season, but Barcelona, Atletico, Real Madrid. Sort of outside of them three teams, really, who else is there? Name a. Yeah, you look at Leicester. three, 4 seasons ago, winning the Premier League. Name a team outside in La Liga, team outside of Real Madrid,
Valencia,
Barcelona.
2006?
Yeah,
Or
go back
2007,
to 2006
Yeah,
to find a team outside of them three that have won the.
yeah, it's true.
I've got a mad stat that Real Madrid are closer to a relegation zone than they are actually Barcelona. So they're doing pretty bad.
So there'd be the Arsenal. But are we like it's very difficult to put across this, but Barcelona, fantastic team, and they have done very well in recent years. But when Pep Guardiola comes out in the media and says players need more protection, yeah, like in applying there should be a winter break, or that players should players should be protected in terms of when a player gets a tackle like Sane did, they get sent off straight away. But that's just top and tail of the Premier League. That's the way the Premier League is. And in a way, do you think that's why a lot of players from La Liga, when they come to Premier League, struggle? Because it's completely different.
They've always said that, though, haven't they? They've always said the Premier League is a lot more physical.
Yeah. I remember when Arsenal signed Reyes. It took one game against Man United. The Neville brothers kicked him up in the air all game long, and that was it. He was never the same player after that game. It showed that the Premier League is so much more of a physical game than any of the other leagues out there.
I think another one that shows it is Di Maria, a player the season before he joined Manchester United was by far the best midfielder in the world. The season before was man the match in the Champions League final. Didn't even score in the final, I don't think either. Absolutely brilliant. Come to the Premier League, and teams like Leicester, Stoke, West Ham, all these teams were making Di Maria look like a standard Southampton best player. No offence to Southampton, but Di Maria was supposed to be the best thing, and Southampton suddenly he's down there with like the likes of Stoke as well and all this type of stuff. But yeah, I'm sorry, Stoke fans, but I've been to Stoke. I'm sorry you lived there.
Let's get watching Jason.
Yeah, you're taking my thing.
No. I joke.
Pick that one off the list.
Break.
No, but
Can anyone else see that glow over there? Stoke.
but like, do we feel like that's the problem? Like, because if you go the other way around, Luis Suarez, when he come to the Premier League, absolutely dominated it. He was, in my opinion, the best striker that's ever graced the Premier League, and not got to 100 goals in the Premier League. I think by far the best. But and then he went to La Liga, and now he's one of the best strikers over there, without a shadow of a doubt. Do you think that's because he's got so used to players just kicking him in the shins and everything like that, that when he's over there and he's protected, there's so much more of something he can do, but he can still cope with that domination from the defenders in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
I think coming over here, if you can perform over here, going abroad, it makes it a lot easier for players. They're not getting tackled all the time, like hard.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not picking up as much injuries and.
That's why I've always said that I would, if given a choice between Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, I'd always go with Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo's proven he can do it in the Premier League, where...
Why did you have to go into that debate? You're going to be here all night now.
No, it makes you wonder what a player like Neymar, who like 200 million quid nowadays, and if he was to come over here, would he Di Maria?
No, he wouldn't. No way.
Ruin your own argument.
No, he wouldn't. No, I personally don't think he would. Because the reason I say that is because Di Maria is a great player and everything like this, yeah? But he was never a Ballon d'Or He was never associated with the Ballon d'Or. He was never one of the best players on the planet. He was the best player in his position. He was the best player in his position, but not best player on the planet. He was never even close to that. Whereas you look at Neymar, and yeah, okay, he's in the French league, which isn't too difficult compared to the Premier League and La Liga, apparently. But Neymar would come over here, and I think he would guarantee you at least 20 goals a season.
See, I disagree. I don't think he's sort of player like when he gets kicked, sort of whines and yeah.
But consider his position. Consider his position for a second. Where does he play?
Well, mainly left wing.
Main left wing, yeah? He doesn't play down the middle. Okay, where did Di Maria play? No, he didn't. He played down the middle. He played where Özil did.
Is he not a right winger though?
Yeah, I thought it was.
When he was he became a right winger at Man United, but he was traditionally down the middle. You've traditionally played down the middle, and because he struggled with that position because he played down the middle, you look at Hazard. There's very big similarities between Neymar and Hazard. They're very similar. They run down the wing. They absolutely blitz it. With Neymar, I think down the wing, because he's so fast, he's very difficult to stop. Very difficult to stop. So I personally disagree. I think that he is going to succeed in the Premier League if he ever come over here, which he never will.
I think
Because no team will ever buy him.
no, not for that price anyway.
Exactly.
I think West Ham will probably come in a bid soon.
Taking port scratches.
Especially after signing Preston North End and Solihull Moors player.
West Ham actually bid for Neymar once, didn't they? When he was at Santos. I think they bid like 13 million at one point, yeah.
Well,
Just after Barcelona, a bit like
well, there is one more thing I did want to talk about. We touched upon it earlier. We were saying about the the players outside the top 6 who you would suggest could get in the England starting 11, yeah, or even in the squad for the World Cup. For you guys, who would you take?
Jamal Lascelles.
Why is that?
He's a phenomenal player.
This is Jason, by the way.
He's a great player, in fairness. Like, he's doing it at a struggling Newcastle.
But the problem is they've not kept a clean sheet in their last. I know it's only 2 games, but they've kept a clean sheet in their last 2 games. Do you think for him to blossom, he needs to be a bigger club?
Yeah. I think if you Virgil van Dijk him, he would slaughter it.
You've really got to stop saying that because they would really be taken the wrong way.
You know what I mean? If you if one of the top sort of 5, top 6 clubs took a punt on him, and he went somewhere like Tottenham to replace Alderweireld eventually when he leaves, then I could see him being like a mainstay in the England side.
Be interesting, that would. Lee? Sorry, you only know your Arsenal players. Rob?
There's more out the top 6.
I'm going to be biased here. I think Aaron Creswell.
Aaron Creswell?
Yeah.
Why's that then?
I think.
Sorry, I'm just blowing up Rob's head. He's getting a bit big-headed there. Sorry, I'm joking there. Anyway, go on.
We've got Mark Noble there. No, I think he's a great left-back. I think he's underrated. He's never really been given a chance with England. But for a West Ham side, he does. He can put crosses in. He can shoot. He can take free kicks. He can defend. I think he's an all-round good player, but it just hasn't been given that chance.
Fair point. I don't think at all he's been given his dues, really. His injuries have marred him a little bit, but he's never been given his dues, personally. Any West Ham player, for that matter, who's English.
Yeah, sure, even Andy Carroll.
Yeah. Kieran?
Well, if he didn't change nationality from English to Irish.
Oh, no, we're going English. Stop it.
That is a Palace.
Yeah.
I can't even think who's outside the top 6. That's English and good.
Really? My God, really?
Yeah.
I think James Ward-Prowse needs a Needs
Yeah.
oxygen to go on the
Yeah.
plane.
What was that about?
No, yeah, when he was struggling, I texted him and said, Jason, crap.
Alright.
Fair play.
You gonna text me now?
Lee,
Did you-
did you think of one in the end?
You've got Wilfried Zaha at Palace as well. The Ivory Coast team.
This is what he just said.
Well, I do have
well,
one.
It did me out this
He
week.
played for England under 21.
No, I'm asking who could get an English one for this summer. Stop. English. No, you can play for England.
Loftus Cheek. Yes. Palace,
I've got a bit of a cup. Kira, who's your one?
definitely Loftus Cheek. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
I thought that off the top of my head.
Yeah, I thought so. Lee. Right, Genie.
Oh, I do have one more. Joe up. We all need a water bottle. Alright, boy, hopefully.
That's something actually as well. Joe Hart is that apparently there's talk of his contract getting terminated at West Ham after poor time with the club, but there's talk that big clubs are looking to buy him if Manchester City want to let him go. Explain to me why a big club would want to buy a player who's not performed even at a club like West Ham. No offence.
Only reason
I'm
I can think. The only reason I could think of that, the sheer fact is he done all right at City.
All right.
But I think that's why we bought him, because he was obviously at Man City, done well, won trophies there. So we obviously bought him, got him on loan, thinking he's going to be great, and he just hasn't turned up for us.
The only reason he lost his position at Man City in the first place was because Guardiola came in and wanted a keeper that could do stuff with his feet, do more with his feet than Joe Hart could. The only reason he ended up at, was it Torino?
Yeah, Torino. He went to
Torino.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came back from his loan spell at Torino, and they're the same. Yeah, not the same player.
That's true. That is very true. But would you take him to the World Cup this summer?
I think if he goes to World Cup, he won't be our number one.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to.
I'm intrigued to see who your number one is then.
I honestly think Jordan Pickford. I think he's a really good keeper. I think.
Sorry, it's not froze. We're just in shock because I don't think, like, I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I don't. But the problem is,
you're not right.
if you're not right either, because no, everyone's got their own opinion. No, everyone's got their own opinion. Your opinion shit.
My opinion don't matter.
But
We're gonna have to add a rating to this.
but what I want to get at is apologies for the language. It's foreign.
Ain't you allowed one swear word that's not sexual?
But
The problem is with keepers at the moment, though, is they've all got their weaknesses. So I don't think we've got a clear number one at the moment.
this is what I'm getting at, is that he can say Pickford, you could say Joe Hart, you could say Butland, you could say Forrester, I could say Foster. Just about the other one. I was like, sure, I've left myself with no one. We could say a name each.
You've got to say what you take three keepers.
From those keepers, you've got to think of a strong argument. Pickford, the most expensive English keeper in history. Great goalkeeper when he come away from Sunderland, but he's not quite done it at Everton. He's doing alright, but he's not quite done it at Everton so far. Butland, he's injury prone.
Yeah, and also you got to think Stoke, first team to concede 50 goals.
And he's been between the sticks at times as well.
Exactly.
Joe Hart, contract going to get terminated at West Ham after a loan spell. Forrester can't even make it in the starting 11 at Southampton.
Injury prone as well.
Quite injury prone again. And Foster, he's probably your most solid choice. And the worst thing is they're at bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Then why don't you take Tommy?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Boom.
Because he's not playing.
Take Nick Pope then. Boom.
And you go then. That's probably your best choice, and he's not even started for England once yet. So, do we take a risk and take him and make him our starting keeper at a World Cup, even though he's never played?
That there is the reason why Joe Hart would be our number one.
because he's played for England.
Because he's
Yeah.
played for
Yeah.
England and he's the only one people know is not going to do well.
I think in a way that because Joe Hart is probably going to get a seat on the plane. You got to think. I reckon he will. He will. There's players that I think are going to get a seat on the plane that shouldn't. Not as much shouldn't, but maybe haven't earned it yet, but are already more or less guaranteed a seat on that plane.
I think you're going to get those ones that are, in my opinion, should get a seat on the plane because they do it well internationally, but don't always do it well at club level. I.e., one player who does it well international, but not at club level, Danny Welbeck. Does it well at international, but never does it that well at club level. But you get vice versa as well. What players do unbelievable at club level, and rubbish internationally. I.e., Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
Does well into club level internationally. He's never really quite lived up to the hype, has he? But only time will tell, and whatever team we take, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah.
Something I saw the other day. You look at players like Marcus Rashford. Not started a game for Man United since I think November. Not started a game. Not scored since November as well. I think October, November. He is more or less guaranteed a seat on that plane. You got to think.
Yeah, sure.
You think, okay, you got players that are fighting for that, trying to get that seat on the plane. Players like Theo Walcott went out and got his move to Everton to try and secure himself more football, to try and get a seat on the plane. Playing Marcus Rashford is going to still be sitting on the bench at Man United. So where's the logic, for lack of a better word?
Yeah,
Theo
that's
Walcott
true.
has gone out to find himself football, to get himself playing time, to try and get on that plane.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford's going to sit on the bench at Man United probably. Because if he hasn't started since November, where's he spotting the team? Especially with Sanchez coming in. Is he going to sit on the bench for a season at Man United and still get a seat on the plane?
That's true, yeah.
And that's the old debate that everyone always brings up. It's about it mattering who you play for. It's like the Mark Noble debate.
A player that should have got in England appearance a lot sooner in his career probably won't now.
No.
And
Makes you wonder if he moves to Spurs and moves to Chelsea or something. Would he then got that spot?
exactly. Drinkwater would be considered over him, and Drinkwater's probably not played as nowhere near as much.
But it's when these managers come in and go, oh, I'm going to make it there. I'm going to pick players on form. But then you still get all these players, like you said, like Rashford on the bench, always in the team. You're like, well, that's gone out the window then.
To me, this might be a bit of... People probably say it's a bit of Arsenal bias or something, but you look at, like, Drinkwater got picked, who didn't... Like, a couple of international breaks ago, Drinkwater got picked, who hadn't played a professional... Who hadn't played for Chelsea, hadn't made an appearance, and Jack Wilshere, who was making an appearance and was in form, didn't get picked.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, so consistencies in picking is...
Yeah. All right then. I think that's. I think we can wrap it up quite nicely there with the international talk there, and end the show just there, ladies and gentlemen. So it's goodbye from the team.
Goodbye.
Download us on iTunes.
Yes, we are now on iTunes to listen to, and obviously on YouTube as usual as well, and catch up with all of our Facebook and
Podbean for Android.
Yep, and Twitter as well. So you can keep right up to date just there as well. So
Hashtag top plugin.
so have a listen, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.